There is a place, not here or there, but somewhere in between. There is a space in the thin air that really can't be seen. If you listen and observe, you may be surprised. Some may call it Camelot or even paradise. Some may say you cross a bridge, others through a door. But all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore. Evermore.
Good evening, sweet spirits. Welcome to the show. My name is Suzanne Sorrell, and I'm the host of the Evermore Paranormal Network. Tonight, I brought some more of my haunted objects. So let's get started. In this segment, we're going to talk about 3 more dolls. I have been talking about dolls. I've talked about some dolls before on other shows. These dolls I haven't talked about. So let's, I'm going to tell you their story. We have 3 dolls, a big one, a very small one, and a medium size. And we're going to talk about the big one first. This doll I call my dream doll, and you'll understand why. A while back, I think it was a couple years ago, my husband and I were in Gettysburg for an event. And we were very busy. And when we go to events, we go to paranormal conventions, we go to film for our show. We go for, usually we're doing something business related. And so I always try to squeeze in a trip to the antique malls, the antique stores in Gettysburg and surrounding areas. Well, this time we were really busy. And the night before I said, so are we just going to get up and go home? Or what are we going to do? And we decided that night that we were just going to get up, pack up, and leave the hotel and head home. We were just exhausted. Well, during the night, I woke up the next morning and I said, oh, we're going to go antiquing. I said, we don't have time to go to a lot of stores. Let's just go to one store. And so out of the blue, I decided I had to go to one antique store, and I had to go before we left town. So we drive over to the store, and I walk in, and I look. This store is huge. It's got like 60 or 65 dealers. It's like 5 levels. I walk into the front door of this store, and I look over, and I see this big doll sitting on the top shelf in a booth. And I went, oh my God. I said, I saw that. That doll was in my dream last night. This is the reason. That doll is the reason I'm here at this one store. I went over, I thought, oh, it's probably, I want to buy it because I know it was meant for me. And I walk over and I'm going, oh, it's probably $100, $150. I'm not going to spend that on a doll that I had in it, that I saw in my dream. I get over there and the doll was like $30. So I was so excited. I bought the doll. Now, this place is not known to have very many dolls at all. It's a huge place, and I never get dolls there. They don't usually have this kind of doll. And so I really do think that for some reason I was called to that store that day to get that doll. Now, I've brought her home. She's packed away. Nothing's happened that I know of. I haven't heard her talk to me. I haven't seen her move. Of course, like I said, she's packed away. I do that so I don't have to deal with this stuff every day, by the way. It's a little distracting to have dolls talking and moving and so on. But anyway, she hasn't done anything obvious, but it doesn't mean that she's not doing something at my house because I have a lot of activity at my house. But anyway, I call her the doll of my dreams, and now you know why. The second story is I'm going to talk about the little doll. Now, this little doll, she actually did do some stuff. I'm an antiques and collectibles dealer, as you should know by now if you've been watching the show, and I also collect dolls. But I also sell dolls. I will buy a ton of dolls. I'll go and buy all the dolls at some place, thrift shop, yard sale, whatever. I'll get a good deal on it. I'll keep the certain dolls from my own collection, and I'll sell the rest at the antique store. So this one day, I'm sitting on the bed, and I have about 20 dolls in front of me. This little one was one of them. Now, they're all laying there, and they're all little this time. They're not the big ones like you see. That is all little. And I'm looking at them, and for some reason, that one caught my attention of all the dolls. Why? Well, she looked like my friend. She reminded me of my friend, Wendy. Wendy kind of has that hair color. Wendy kind of has the eye color. And I kept thinking, Wendy, Wendy, Wendy. I picked the doll. And another thing is, as soon as I was thinking Wendy, I noticed that the eyes on this doll kept fluttering. And I'm going to do it. You're probably going to laugh. But it was like, just blinky, 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 blinky. It wouldn't stop. All the other dolls are laying there still, but this one was. So I picked it up to go, what's wrong with this doll? Why is it blinking? There has to be something wrong with it. I pull it closer, and like I said, the eyes are blinking. And when I pull it closer, I look, and lo and behold, the name of the doll is Wendy. It's a Wendy doll, spelled the same way my friend spells her name. But what was really creepy about this doll, other than that I knew the name of it and the eyes were blinking, it made me pick it up and look at it, was when I picked the doll up and got it close to me, I heard a little girl's voice say, "Help me." Just once, but that's all I needed to hear. Most people would have probably thrown the doll across the room. I kind of just held it in shock, and I thought to myself, that's a little girl's voice, but I bet it's not a little girl talking. You always have to be suspicious. You cannot assume anything. When you hear a little girl, it could be something evil. It could be something totally different than a little girl spirit. So before I run out of time in this segment, I'll get on to the big doll, the tall doll. This is, her name's Annabelle. Now, Annabelle was, she's been on a couple of my shows. We did a Halloween episode, and I wanted to dress as Annabelle the doll from the movie. So I was dressed as Annabelle the doll. If you watch the episode, you'll see me, and you'll also see her. I wanted to my costume was Annabelle the doll from the movie, but I wanted to bring a doll with me that looked like me. Well, I went on eBay, and I said, maybe I can get a doll. But when I went on eBay, they were like $100, $150. I said, no, I'm not spending that kind of money on a costume. So I went to a thrift shop. I found a doll that the dress was very similar to my dress. So the doll that I got, this was originally a Christmas doll. And I changed her go from a Christmas doll holding a stocking and a wreath to change her into the little Annabelle. So before I run out of time, let me just tell you that I brought the doll to the show. That show, we were filming Halloween episodes. I had 4 psychics on set. All of them were creeped out by this doll. I didn't feel anything. But one particular psychic, she went home that night. She was really creeped out about it. And when she went home that night, the next day I got a call saying that they think the spirit that's attached to this doll followed them home. So right now, maybe there's not an attachment, maybe there's nothing, maybe it did follow them home. I have not experienced anything with this doll, but they did. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. So welcome back. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of objects that I have talked about on other TV shows besides this one. So I brought with me a book and a musical globe. So let's talk about the book first. The book, it's a Wicca book. Now, I was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, filming an episode of the Evermore Paranormal road trip. And I was interviewing the owner and the resident psychic. And they had told me stories about books flying off the shelves. In other words, they would come in the morning and a book would be laying in the middle of the room. And the way the book was laying, it would be very obvious that it didn't just fall off the shelf, like it was placed there. These two ladies are the only ones that have access to the location, and so they were telling me the story. That's one of the claims at this location. So I was in the room interviewing the psychic, and she had just told me about the story. We'd gotten up, I walked out of the room, and I was walking by the area that has the books for sale. And I looked directly at this book, and I said, hey, I kind of pointed at it, joking. I said, hey, why don't you jump off the shelf for me? And not expecting anything to happen, I turned to walk away, and I hear thump behind me. I turn around, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Where did that book, the book that I had pointed at, fell off and was laying on the floor. My husband, I said, first thing, as somebody in TV, I go, honey, did you get that? Because he was filming 2 seconds before. He says, no, had turned the camera off. The psychic had come out of the room. We all had turned and looked at this book. And so the book, Wicca by Scott Cunningham, I'm told by everybody that this is a great book, but I haven't gotten around to read it yet. And I think it showed me, I was joking, never, ever in a million years expected the book to fall off. So that was pretty cool. The second story, another interesting case. I was at Iron Horse Antiques in Manassas, Virginia, and I have a booth there. I've been a dealer there since 2003. But some days I just go upstairs and walk around and shop, and just look for things. Well, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, usually nobody's in the store, especially upstairs. And so I'm walking around, I'm the only one up there, and all of a sudden I hear music playing. And I looked around, and lo and behold, this music box was playing. This music globe, as a matter of fact, not a box. But it was playing the song Alley Cat. So I thought, this is interesting. Maybe this globe, maybe it actually called me over there for a reason. I looked at the price, it was about $30, and I'm like, $30, I don't want to spend $30 right now. And I thought, I really didn't like it. I think it's ugly, to be honest with you. I don't like it, it's tacky looking. And even the song, Alley Cat, is not something that's significant to me. So as a result, I said, well, let me just take a picture of it. And I took one picture because I'm writing a book about haunted objects, and I thought I may need it. Just a picture of the object. So when I got home and I uploaded the pictures the next day or whatever, I took a look, and lo and behold, there was a woman standing in the background behind this globe. So I will add that to this episode so you can see what I'm talking about. I'll add the picture. And so, this music box ended up having this woman in the picture behind it. So since I bought it, nothing's really happened, but I have taken it to other shows, and I have taken pictures. And I had it on another episode recently, and there are people in the background in the filming of it. So something's going on with this object. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
My journey skating for the gold taught me a lot, but my journey with breast cancer has been one of my greatest teachers.
Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Be Wiser educates and empowers women to take control of their breast cancer treatment plan and help navigate their own path beyond 5 years.
Talk to your doctor about information and tests to personalize a treatment plan that fits your needs. I did. Be informed, be wiser, support survivors like us.
Losing weight's a lot harder than gaining it, but with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
So welcome back. Now I'm going to talk about two objects that I categorize as found objects, meaning they came into my possession, but I really don't know how or why they became part of my life. The first one I'm going to talk about is the ashtray. This ashtray, kind of a cool story. Anyway, what happened was in 2013, my mom passed away, and I inherited her townhouse. And over the last 5 years or so, my husband goes over there and mows the backyard, because it'll grow up to 4 feet high. So he goes over there to take care of the backyard. Our neighbors have taken care of the front yard for us, and they've been wonderful about that. But my husband goes over there, and so he's mowing the lawn, weed whacking, whatever, in the backyard. And this is a very small little townhouse with a small backyard. So after a while, after a few years had passed, one day my husband comes home with this ashtray. And I'm like, he brought it home. I think he washed it and he left it there. And of course I'm going, what's this? What'd you bring? What's the ashtray? He says, well, I found it in your mom's backyard. I'm like, oh, really? And it's like it had somehow been buried, or it had been in the ground and it had finally worked its way to the surface. So I thought, well, first of all, my mom didn't smoke. I don't smoke. My husband doesn't smoke. And my mom wouldn't let anybody in the house that smoked. Well, so why would there be an ashtray in the backyard? Why would she, and years after she passed away, there's an ashtray in our backyard. Now, you got to remember, too, the gate is locked. Nobody's been in the backyard. So, and another thing was, it was somehow buried and had slowly just worked its way to the top. But what the weirdest thing about the story is, when you look at it very closely, you will see that the name on it is Tim, T-I-M. There's somebody had maybe had their name printed on this ashtray. Now that is where the story gets spooky, because when I realized that this ashtray has the name Tim on it, I kind of freaked out, because I have been receiving messages for years since my mom passed, probably since about 2012. I have been getting the name Tim on the Ghost Box, on the Ovilus, on Ghost Radar, every piece of equipment, I'm getting Tim, 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 Tim. So now maybe I've gotten another piece to the puzzle. Somehow this ashtray may have Tim attached to it. And that's why I have been getting messages from Tim for the last 5-6 years. So the next object is strange also. I don't know I can't tell you for a fact where I got these two antique tintypes. I am an antiques and collectibles dealer, and I go out to thrift shops, yard sales, etc., and I buy. This is not something that I would normally buy. As you know, dolls always draw my attention, and some other things that I collect, but not antique tintypes. So what happened? How did I come into the possession of this? I don't know. But here's how I discovered what was going on, and this is also weird. I was I was cleaning out my study at my house, and it's really one of those, it's just got to the point that I just been putting stuff in there. And one day I'm cleaning out my study, and I run across a little baggie with these two pictures in it. Now the bigger one is a woman, and the smaller one is of a teenage boy, maybe 18 at the most. And the bigger one she looks like she could possibly be his mom. So I don't know. When I found these two pictures in the study about a year or two ago, I'm like, I about fainted because, one, I don't know where I got them. I don't think I bought them. I have a feeling a friend of mine gave me these pictures, but I'm not sure. But I about fainted because this boy in the picture, one, he looks like a friend of mine, like a spitting image of a friend of mine that, this is from the 1800s, right? My friend is currently living, and it looks just like him. That freaked me out. Secondly, I have been seeing this person, this boy. I've been seeing him as an apparition. I've been seeing him in my dreams. And I have no idea where these tintypes came from. So there you go, a couple more weird stories for you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now I'm going to talk about my final two objects today, both of which have shown activity in my living room and dining room area at my house. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the rosary that's hanging here. This is a brand new rosary for the month of March. And my mom, like I said, I've mentioned many times, my mom passed away in 2013. I was an only child, so my mom wanted to be cremated, and I have her ashes and urn at my house. I keep them in my dining room area. And I have like a little shrine to my mom with pictures and things and religious objects, things like that. And so on her birthday or Christmas, sometimes I'll get her something when I think of her. Like, I've actually given her perfume. She loved perfume. I know she can't use it now, but I know that she appreciates the thought. So I bought her this rosary. Now, it was brand new, like I said. Bought it at a Catholic store. And my mom wasn't Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I collect rosaries. I have about 400 of them. I love them. So one day I saw this and I said, I'm going to buy my mom a rosary. It's, like I said, March for the month, her birth month. I went into the dining room and I said, okay, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put it? I decided I was going to hang it on the chandelier in the dining room, which is kind of like over her urn. So I take it out of the box, I hang it up, I put it up. As I put it up, I'm talking to my mom, who her spirit, and I'm like, so Mom, I get you things. This is a rosary, and it's for your birthday for the month of March. I said, I know you weren't very religious, and you weren't Catholic. And as I'm doing this, as I'm saying this stuff to her, this rosary starts spinning. And if you've seen my show using pendulums, that's exactly what spirits do when they come into the area. They utilize, they start using their energy to move things. So this rosary started spinning like a pendulum. It was getting stronger and stronger as I was talking, spinning on its own. So I'm watching this, and as I say, so it's spinning. And the other thing is, when a pendulum spins, it's spinning to come up with an answer, either yes, going this way, or no, going this way. As it's spinning and it's getting stronger, I'm going, okay. So Mom, I said, I hope you don't mind that I put this rosary. And it just went crazy, crazy, crazy. And I grabbed the rosary, stuck it in the box, and I did not want the answer. So I was terrified about that. Now, the other thing is the top hat. This story, I'm going to have to speed this up. The top hat and the box, I got it at an antique show. I bought the top hat because we do a lot of photo shoots and music videos, and I wanted my husband to wear it. So I had it in my living room with a bunch of other stuff, not thinking anything of it. But I started seeing shadows when I was looking into the dining room, away from the living room, and I was seeing some kind of shadows going back and forth in my living room. I didn't know what these shadows were. I couldn't, when I turned around and looked, I wouldn't see them, only the reflection of these shadows. So I noticed, long story short is, I noticed that when I took the hat out of the box and took it for a shoot or whatever and didn't put it back with the box, that's when I would see these shadows. But one day I decided that I said, I'll just sell the box. I don't need it. I just want the hat. So I took the box to a show and I was going to sell it, and luckily it didn't sell because I finally realized that when I put the hat in the box, there's no activity. When the hat and the box are separated, there's activity. Thus, this hat belonged to someone, obviously from the 1800s. It was important to someone, and they probably, they kept it in this box, and they want it kept in this box. And as long as I keep them together, I'm not going to see the man in the top hat. So thank you for watching the Evermore Paranormal Network. Until next time, peace out.
So in the end, what have I said is only that I'm sure. For all I know about this place is that I call it Evermore.